Yeah, hello also from my side. Best wishes. And yeah, I'm Lars, 42 years old. Meanwhile, 10 years working for Weidmüller. Yeah, and my today's passion, let's say, is the automatic machine portfolio within Weidmüller that is including also the WPC approach. So the new context that we have launched in Hannover Fair 2019. And with this, yeah, we will touch the next couple of minutes. So the topic, as Ursula also already mentioned, is yeah, underlining the flexibility that we can bring to you with the WPC approach. But before we start, just a few words regarding this initiative. So who are the partners behind this collaboration and what is the objective? So in order to be successful and become a trendsetter in the field of smart cabinet building, it is key essential to have really strong partners with intensive competences and deep know-how in the most relevant categories. So simply reading from the left to the right, so we have Weidmüller as an overall partner in the industrial connectivity. We have the company Comax as a pioneer and market leader in fully automated wire processing. We have the software specialist Suken for digital engineering for cabinet building, and Ambrus Engineering for assistive systems for the manual production. So on this illustration, you can see the panel building process on how we see this. So starting with a certain inquiry or an order, running from the entire process over the planning in the engineering office, going forward to the production area and ending up with a go live in the operation phase with physical implementation at the end customer. Over the entire process, the data consistency is key relevant, and for sure also the digital twin of the physical end product is enjoying an increasing role in this whole process. And when we look in this whole process in our partnership, so we have key competences of all the forementioned partners all around the process. But today, so the key topic would be the field of cable confectioning during the manufacturing step. We will be slightly touching the single semi-automatic machines that are taking over single work steps, and then we'll get more detailed with the new WPC, Wire Processing Center approach. So the WPC is a modular approach of different standalone machines and printers implemented on a mobile workstation. You will get to know on how the software is steering the machines and the workers through the process on the later slides. And I will also jump in the two software packages and show you some key things in there. So it is still a semi-automized approach. So there's still a worker needed for the cable movement, but so he's navigated by the software in the system. Also the machines are being steered from the WPC software, and the worker is being shown on what he needs to do. The flow of data and its consistency is key important while making the way from the planning to the production area. And how to get the data into the system, the WPC is having multiple options, and one of them, most homogeneous one, is with the Suken E3 software. And there I will show you a small video where Achim Stirner, as the expert behind, will tell single steps in there. If there would be even more detailed questions on that, we can cover this later on. So what is concretely behind the WPC concept and what are the major components? Here you see, so it is, as already mentioned, this is a mobile workshop wagon. We have different machines in here. So we have a cutting machine, CutFix 8 interface. We have a stripping crimping machine for wire end ferrules. We have here wire intervals on reels in the range 0.5 to 2.5, so gauge 20 to 14. And the software is simply adjusting to the relevant cross section. And on top, we have our thermal transfer printers, the THM Multimark. Under the table here in the back, we have a cabinet where an IoT device, so an industrial PC, is implemented that is running the software, and the software is shown here on the touch display and guide the worker through the process. Regarding the cable management, let's say we have different kind of feeding options. So either you are using cables on reel, or in the big cartonnage boxes, we have different systems. And in the end, it's important that the cutting unit is getting precisely the cable, so you avoid that something blocks and so on, so that the slow process is stopping. Yeah, and rounding up this assortment, so we have here a small shelf where you can fill in any kind of consumables such as markers, ribbon, or wire end ferrules, so that you are never ever running out of consumables. At the front com side here of the cabinet, we have additional plugs, so for USB, for mains, and air pressure. So this is also underlining the flexibility of the system. The profile system is also a standard one, so that you can easily fine-tune this even a little more and make this your own baby in the production side. Now, just little background information why we came to the idea behind. The numbers that you see here is the outcome of a survey of a university in Stuttgart, Germany, among panel builders in Central Europe, so mainly Germany, Switzerland, Austria. But these numbers have been confirmed in any countries where I'm giving this presentation, so it doesn't matter if it's Eastern Europe, Asia, America. The figures are relevant nearly everywhere, plus minus few percentages. And so just to illustrate, so the numbers are in total more than 100%. The questions behind were, okay, if we look specifically in the planning phase, how much time is needed for circuit diagram construction and the project planning, and within the installation, you see here that the wiring, nearly 50%, is the highest time aspect, and for sure this is unveiling the highest potential for optimization. So either if we speak about costs or time aspects. Just that you get a short overview. So as I mentioned, we have different kind of standalone machines. We have them in the market since roughly 4 decades. So we speak about single cutting machines with interface, without. We have different stripping boxes for just stripping the cable completely or partially. We do have a different kind of stripping, crimping machines for wire end ferrules. Also one for turn contacts. And so with this new approach, WPC, we bring them to the next level. So equip them with an interface and a communication protocol, so that the software is able to steer the machines and the workers through the process. So if we look at the market, where we find various solutions from classical work where every single work step is conducted with hand tools, the semi-automatic machines in the middle, and also the fully automated solutions at the top end, where, for example, Comax is having very sophisticated solutions. So there's a market for every application where either still the classical handwork makes sense, where we need the high-end fully automated machines, but with this semi-automatic approach that we were offering to the market, we specifically position ourselves, let's say, in the middle between this purely semi-automated segment and the fully automated segment. And so, yes, it's still semi-automatic, but this is also giving you a lot of possibilities in terms of flexibility, intuitive handling, and this at the end at a quite smart price range. So the standard machines have been leveled up with interfaces and communication protocols. So the key question for sure is, how does the data get to the WPC? And this is what I want to show you also now a little deeper. So I will unveil this sentence as well. So if we speak about the WPC software, we actually speak about two software packages. So one is the WPC tool, on how we call this. This is a planning software for the project planners, usually being installed at the laptops within the engineering office. And we do have then the software package, the pure application software that is running on the station. How to get data in the planning tool? We have different options. So directly coming from the ECAD softwares from Excel templates, for example, or you can type in manually. And as announced earlier, so right now I will show you a short sequence on how this is very easily, very smartly being done with the Suken E3. I will start the video just a second.
In the next few minutes, I will show you how high-quality data can be easily and quickly exported from the digital twin for the Weidmuller Processing Center. The starting situation is our demo project. In this project, the wires are already defined. That means source and destination, as well as color and cross-section, are defined. In addition to the circuit diagram, a 3D panel layout also exists in the project and the wires are already routed. In this case, E3 has automatically determined the wire length and the wire end processing for you. The WPC export works whether there is only a circuit diagram or only a panel layout or both. For test and demo purposes, we have defined a few connections in the project which cannot be produced by the WPC without adaption. E3 detects this and lists all warnings in the output window. For example, all wires are listed which have no length and/or where the wire cross-section is outside the allowed values. Furthermore, if not available wire colors are defined. Basic settings can be made in the WPC tool, which are then relevant for the import. In our example, we have assigned the corresponding marker types to the different core cross-sections, as well as the processing sequence, furthermore, from which properties the labeling text should be composed. And last but not least, which columns should be displayed in which order. Now we will proceed to the import. To do this, we click on the E3 icon and open the previously exported WPC file. We see that all the wires that were previously exported have been transferred to the WPC. All properties have been transferred completely and correctly. Using a wire as an example, we can see the properties, wire length, source and target labeling, marker type, the two wire end processes, as well as the cross-section and the color of the wire. This dataset can now be transferred to the WPC.
Okay, so this would be the first video. Now I will also show you a very short one that you see on how the WPC is working. So it's just very shortly, and then I will jump into the two software packages. So out of the different jobs that are inside, you can easily filter for a specific cable type that you want to process. So yes, we speak about the semi-automatic approach as mentioned earlier. So you need to set up one conductor here, the 2.5 blue, for example. And so you filter according to this cable, and then the magic flows. So this one-piece flow concept. So when you start the job, the cutting machine is getting the cut job. The thermotransfer printer is starting with with a print job, and the stripping crimping machine is being adjusted for the according cross section, and yeah, is waiting in the end until the worker is placing in the cable to process the ferrules on there. So why is the WPC tool also still relevant? So not possible to directly bring the data from EC or any other program to the station. Within the WPC tool, we also make a plausibility check, so that we make sure that all the key aspects like the length, how long should the Cut-Fix-8 cut the cable, what kind of cross-section should be crimped, should there be a ferrule or maybe just stripped as an insulated connector should be connected later on, and what should be printed and the quantity. If any of this data is missing, it's not possible to transfer the job to the station, because we would get a first error message, how long to cut the cable or whatever. And the idea behind this approach is also that we want to enable you so that the workers, all of them, can focus on value-adding activities. So at the station for the cable confectioning, it doesn't need to be an expert to run through the list from job 1 to job N in the end. This can be also other people who conduct these work steps. And this is also why the data should be or must be 100% accurate. And now I want to jump quickly inside the two software packages itself. So what you have seen also already in the video in the second half of my colleague Achim. This is, let's say, the basic view on the WPC tool, where you can easily type in jobs manually in here, add new ones like the E3 import. I will do it just once again, open the project that you have seen earlier, simply showing you some of the key features in here as well. So out of this list, I can flag all of them and then say, okay, take over the defined marker scheme. So for any cross section, you can easily say, okay, all the 0.5 cables needs to be the WOQ markers, and for 1.0 maybe the TMIs or heat shrinks or whatever. So usually it is possible to make this data also in the ECAD software, but it's quite time consuming, and with the standard marker scheme, it's quite easily that you can enrich the data in here. Also, so conductor end processing. So a 0 is just the cutted end, 1 stands for crimping a ferrule, and the 2 would be just stripping. So you could also say, hey, I haven't maybe not precisely done this in the ECAD world, let's say, but for sure we want to have a ferrule on both sides. So we can easily say for all the highlighted lines, I want to have a ferrule. So if I overtake this, so all the ones being done in here. Or bring there a puffer length. Let's say, okay, we need 400 millimeters. We want to have 10% puffer length or 10 millimeters or whatsoever. This is also easily being adapted here in this software. And then, so the job I already have on the station, I will just bring there another one that we have more data, and just give this a project name Webinar English. Then transfer to the station. So this would be, I will show you this on my PC version. So I have not physically installed the machines on there, but I can show you the context very easily. So this is a starting screen of the application software at the station. So we have the processing list where we'll jump in a second. We can also add jobs manually at the station, and we have for sure different kind of possibilities to make some system informations in there, so some fine tuning. Just right now have one. Okay, sorry for that. So I this popped up at my second screen. So the processing list is the key thing in the end. If you open in here, I need to cancel the filters. This is what I forgot earlier. Sorry for that. So we do have here right now different kind of jobs. So one-to-one, the list that we have seen earlier in the WPC tool, after being transmitted, it is one-to-one. So in that order, line 1 is line 1 in the WPC and so on. So in total, we have 29 pages with different jobs in here. And now with the filter setting, so it is, it's jumping from 1.5, 1.5, 0.75, as we still speak about the semi-automatic approach where you need to install for the cutting machine one specific cable. So you can say out of this list could be hundreds or thousands of cables. we start for the black 2.5s, for example, and from the different projects, like in here, just the one that I've transmitted, adjusted with ferrules at all sides, for example, apply, yes, and now we reduce the views from 29 pages of different kind of cables and colors and cross sections and so on to only 3 pages, just the black 2.5s. And now we could start the process. So before it starts, it's showing here on how the physical end product looks like. So at this cable, there was no marker. So just a 280 millimeter cable, ferro on both sides in the end. We can start the process. This is what I cannot show you physically in the end, but what is happening if you start the process. So the cutting machine is getting the cutting lengths and directly cutting the cable. The printer, okay, right now in this job, there is no marker needed, but he would get the marking data, and the crimping machine would be already fine-tuned or adjusted to the 2.5 gauge 14 cables, and it's waiting until the worker puts in the cable 1 time, 2 times, and then the one piece flow is ready. So one cable is finished, and then automatically the next conductor is being processed. In here, the automatic way is not activated. This is what I will also show you, so you can activate or deactivate this. Here it is right now, you would need to click next conductor and start to jump from the first job to the next one. Usually, this can be done in the setting system, so automatic processing being activated. I will do this and jump back to the list. Go back in here, and now you don't see this this button anymore. So once the first cable is being prepared, automatically the next job starts. To deactivate this manual processing might make sense from quality point of view. If you want to double check the first couple of cables, okay, it's a cable that I have physically prepared in my hand, the same like the one it should be. Because if you have activated the automatic approach, so once the second side is being crimped, the one piece flow is ready, the next cycle is started and also shown. So you're seeing cable 2 physically in your hands, cable 1. And so this makes sense to activate for, I don't know, the first 5 shots for quality double check, and then maybe every 50 or 100 shot again. And in the meantime, enjoy the automatic processing that this is done automatically, more or less. Underlining the flexibility. So here at the sidebar, you could activate or deactivate the devices from the communication with the software. It was deactivated, again, as this is my PC version, and it would look for the components. Usually all of them are activated, but for example, could make sense for specific projects. You say, yeah, the markings we need to do separately later on, or with a print jet, or with a laser system whatsoever. So the marking data is there, yes, but we don't want to have it for this certain project. So this is underlining the flexibility. And also, if you're in the processing, let's say, so one worker might process all day long the cables from the job list in the end, and then another worker might come, hey, urgent project, he needs to finish 100 cables, so 1.0 very urgently, and he don't want to waste the time with hand tools as he have the machines over here. So you can simply go to standalone modus. Then all of the machines can be used in its single function. If once it's finished, you switch back to the systems approach, and when the systems approach is ready, so it is not possible to fine tune, for example, the stripping crimping machine from 0.5 to 2.5 or the other way around. The software is telling 2.5 needs to be done. And in the online modus, it's not possible to change to 1.5, 0.5 whatsoever. Only if you activate the standalone function, you can use it in the single mode function. Yeah, this would be, so you can delete the entire list in here. If you want to delete single jobs, it needs to be done in the job list in this detailed view. We do speak also about different user roles. So we have an admin, we have, that's a small bug, a super user and the user active in here. So a user can only process the cables, filter the settings and so on, but he cannot delete something, add something, or change something in here. This is only for the super user, what could be the expert behind possible, or admin. Admin can also do everything, including the network settings, and the super user everything without the network settings. One additional thing, so it is also possible to use the quick start function. This is when you don't want to go the way over the planning. Maybe you have a short paper, I don't know, with 3-4 different kind of jobs. So you can easily simply add jobs here at the station. So starting with a neutral view, let's say. So you can say, okay, now I have my, I don't know, blue cable. It's 2.5. We need 400 millimeters, for example. We want to prepare a little mass production, let's say, so 50 pieces. Let's say ferro on that side. The second side we do not know. It's just we're preparing standard cables. The second side might be finished at the cabinet with hand tools. Let's say. Sorry, there I wanted to implement, for example, just X1 as a marker text. Here, it's just an indicator that you can put in data. If you're not doing something in here, if you play now start, you really want to overtake the data, yes. So here right now, this would be really the physical view on how the end product will look like. You can also anytime repeat the cycle. So maybe if the worker accidentally didn't put the cable inside straight ahead, so that maybe the crimp is not looking perfect, so you can anytime repeat the cable. Yeah, this would be, so again, you also have the possibility for some system settings, but I think this would be too much for this moment, looking at the time window. I would jump back to the presentation. Okay, here next I have 2 videos that start in parallel, just to give you an idea. So if you compare classical work with hand tools and with WPC, so same job, so no markers in this case, just a 1 meter cable and crimping ferrules on both sides. Here, just to cite in the quick start function is quite new, so the video is right now being processed. This would be even faster. So the typing in of the job is slightly different than it would be with a quick start function. But here that you get an idea. So in total, 2 minutes 33 compared to 4 minutes 13, you can easily see how big the time savings could be. Here at the beginning, the manual work is faster, so you already have something prepared with cutting the cables, and making the settings here in the WPC approach takes the first seconds, let's say, but then it's speeding up, and you come to this significant time decrease. Yeah, summing up this approach, so depending on where you start, so everything with paperwork, everything with hand tools, so it is easily possible to speed up the efficiency or increase the efficiency up to 80%. The data consistency we have touched, so on how the data is coming from the engineering phase to the production, and the approach you have seen, so it's a mobile system, modular. So one thing that I haven't mentioned so far, it is also possible to implement this stepwise. So maybe if you like this approach, say, yeah, but I do need some time to adapt my processes a little bit, but the crimping machine could help me directly up from tomorrow. So you can buy the crimping machine or any other today. Change the process accordingly for the process for the systems approach, and buy the other components later on, and having the entire approach then at a certain time point in the future ready. The flexibility for sure with a standalone function is giving you some extra options on how to really efficiently bring this to the production, that you can always easily change between systems approach and standalone function. The software is guaranteeing highest quality standards. So the software is telling the worker and the machines on what to do, and nothing else is possible when the systems approach is activated. And for the data enrichment, so we know everybody is at a different step regarding the data quality, let's say. So it is possible to start in different ways to bring data inside the software and get started with this system. Yeah, this would be the key topics for this approach. Now at the end of the session, simply that you have the contact data in here, so you can easily, regarding this approach, directly contact me anytime, or my team leader Christian Dülme. From Zucken we have Achim Stirner, the guy that you heard in the video. So he's a clear software expert. Regarding fully automated approaches, we have Corne Dura from Comax and Henning Vogler from Armbruster Engineering. So now I would be at the end of my presentation. I'll look into the questions area on what we might directly answer in here. Just a second, please. So one question or a couple of questions from Luke in the end. Is the data revision controlled? How concretely do you mean this? I will jump to, maybe you can type in this. Is it possible, the next questions from him, to bundle them? So yes, we do have a bundle feature in there as well. What is the wire size range accommodate for the workstation? So in the systems approach today, it is 0.5 to 2.5, or engage sizes 20 to 14. This is, usually the key range when we speak about high volumes. There is the idea to bring later on other hardware components. So one crimping machine then can go up to 10 square as a second crimping machine. And but if you switch over to standalone functions, so the cutting machine is able already today to cover up to 10 square millimeters from 0.08, I guess. So it's a bigger range in the single approach, but the systems approach today 0.5 to 2.5. And if you have further questions, or you want to see if it would work with your software, so the WPC tool is not available for free download, let's say, but if you have a concrete interest, so come back to us and we can provide you with this, so that we can make sure on how this would look today with your data that you have so far, what might need to be adjusted and so on. So we are very open to go with you through the details. Yeah, this would be the points from my side. I thank you for your attention. I would say further questions, if they're coming, we can clarify later. Also, if there would be detailed questions regarding the Zucken 3 software. So Achim is not here today, but he would be also open for any kind of question. Thank you very much for your attention.